Back in 2014, a stealth game came out about a goblin rogue named Styx. And the game was called Masters of Shadows. And no, I don't mean, I should have scratched that. Awesome game. Check it out if you haven't already. It was fun, challenging, all that. Well, said game, despite the efforts of disingenuous hipster dipshits in gaming rags, or game journalist rags, who basically lambasted it as nothing more than an antediluvian artifact from a bygone age. Which, by the way, any of those dipshits who hear this, screw you. It did well enough to get a sequel. And said sequel is Shards of Darkness. And much like its predecessor, it is a worthwhile game. It's challenging. There's entertaining dialogue, depending on your taste. Lots of options available in game. In short, think of a combination that comprised Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter, Hitman, Thief. Though that one is more of an assumption on my part because I've yet to play anything in the Thief franchise, and Deadpool, which allow me to elucidate on that. It's similar to Sly Cooper, specifically 3, in that you are dropped into a decently sized location or map, not the playground fan type, with secondary activities and loot to collect, such as collectibles. Well, not collectibles, but there are certain things you can collect in these environments, as well as the option to take things from guards and different types of takedowns, both silent and more noisy, although the less noisy takedown takes a little longer, and if you get seen, you better run like hell. Similar to Jack and Daxter in that you get funny death cut scenes. Like, how do I put this? If you remember Jack and Daxter, the first game back in the day, you remember that as Jack, if you died, Daxter would always have these little scenes where he would say something into your face as you were dying. Like, I'll say something tearful at the funeral, like, how am I going to get changed back now? So it's kind of like that. It's similar to Hitman in that you have options in the environment of how to take people out, like poisoning food with goblin spit, or dropping a chandelier on someone's head, or multiple guys' heads if you're lucky. Although I don't know if that's an option. Similar to Thief, and again, this is an assumption on my part, but it's a dedicated stealth game instead of a game where stealth is an option. It is it is better for your progression just to be sneaking. Is all I can say. And similar to Deadpool, somewhat in terms of humor, although that one might be a bit of a stretch. And I also thought of comparing it to Noir, but that felt like a stretch, even to me. So it is essentially an amalgamation of many things I enjoy, not counting Thief, because, as I've said, I've yet to play any of the Thief games, although I probably should, because The Long Moonlight is kind of influenced by it. But anyway, you sneak around environments as a goblin named Styx. The story is simple. You are hired to take. Actually, it's kind of weird. There's this group in the game called Carnage who are for the eradication of goblins, but one of them hires you to take someone out. I think it's in a higher position, and this job goes south, and the story expands from there. You use a dagger, I believe it's an arm-mounted bolt shooter. And I believe there was also, I can't remember, I'm still playing the game, so this recommendation is kind of premature, but I think it's worthwhile. There's also some other stuff from Master of Shadows that you can still use, like mainly the fact that you can, like there are two abilities that I do remember from the first game returned to this one, which is you have the ability to go invisible and make a clone of yourself. Which, again, these are from the first game and they make a comeback. And there isn't much of an option to fire. Now you can deflect and then take someone out, but I wouldn't recommend doing it against groups because they will all attack you at once, probably. Now I have yet to be in that situation, but it would not surprise me if that does happen. And as there is no option to fight, if you do, you are lucky to barely survive and get away with your life. So as I said, it really puts you in a position where you are forced to be stealthy. Like, no taking everyone out at once. Actually, I kind of had a bit about this, but I'll save that for later. But much like Master of Shadows, the fun in this game is the challenge it offers. Like I didn't like until I played Master of Shadows, I did not realize this. But I actually like being challenged. I don't like a game where it's just you tear through everything. Well, I do sometimes, but sometimes a challenge doesn't hurt. Is all I'm saying. This isn't a game where it feels like you are slicing through butter. No, in fact, I would say it's the reverse. Even when playing on easy mode, it feels as if you are the butter when those enemy guards find you because they can take you out with little trouble. And a bit of a tip, if you are caught by one of those guards, that arm-mounted bolt shooter I mentioned previously, use it sparingly, particularly when you get caught. It saved my green ass on more than a few occasions. There are some upgrades available in the game. I believe one is you can, like, you remember how in Assassin's Creed 2 you could grab, like, while hanging on from a ledge, you could grab someone by the shirt and assassinate them? I believe there's something similar in the game. I've mostly been using mine for, well, actually, that's not important. Point is, there are upgrades in the game. You get certain skill points, and you can use them to upgrade yourself. I don't know if you'll be able to get all the skill points throughout the game, or all the skills throughout the game, or if there's an option to, well, never mind. So pick wisely is all I'm saying, what you would do. And there's also, although there was one funny thing, apparently some people took umbrage with the fact that he makes these offhand, somewhat debatably funny jokes throughout the game. Apparently that was a deal breaker for some people, which all I can say is, really, you're in a fantasy world and playing as a goblin, and that's what breaks your immersion. Really. Ugh, okay. There's some good pop culture references, like there's one to Hamlet, which is probably one of my favorite Shakespeare plays, so I loved that reference a lot. And you should be seeing that on the screen if I decide to use that one for the background. But anyway. What else? I mentioned that this was like Sly Cooper and that you can have secondary things to get. There are secondary objectives like opening a storage room or taking out guards to get their badges because they're deserters and you can get more money for that. I always go for those because I'm a completionist. You have that option. And I think that's as much as I want to reveal about it. But yeah, there's that. You can climb walls. You have to be careful how big of a fall you have, though, because certain falls will kill you when you hit the ground. So again, you're not like Talion. You can't fall from great heights and survive. You can't. Yeah, there's certain things you can't survive as easily. So there's that. You can hide under tables. Although for some reason those guards can find you. They find me wherever I hide somehow. But or I think I've had this since Christmas, so my memory's a little faded here, and a lot of this is going off of memory. Some of it's from notes I wrote, but some of it's kind of memory. You can climb walls, hide under tables, hide under invents, traverse on ropes. Oh, you can kick barrels down at people to kill them because it releases some kind of gas. But it only has a certain range of kill count or kill ability. Or I'm sorry, unalive ability. And that's about as much as I want to reveal, actually. It's fun. If I had to give it a rating, 8.1 or 8.5 out of 10. No, 8.6. Definitely 8.6. Fun game. Dialogue's okay. But then again, I'm not playing this thing for the dialogue. I'm not wanting some grand story. I'm wanting to be entertained with this. Good cultural references, as I mentioned before. And actually, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Give this game a try if you haven't already, especially if you like stealth games, because we don't get that many stealth games now, which sucks, because after playing Masters of Shadows, I wanted more stealth games. Oh well. Anyway, that's the game. That's the video. Have a nice day, and remember the game was rigged from the start.